Now, from South Seminole Academy in Castleberry, Florida, direct from the third floor of building number 3, this is South Seminole News.
Welcome to the Friday Show. I'm Bailey, and today I'm going to talk about the updates of our solar system. First off, I'm going to say stuff about the Hubble captures galactica shot. There is 30 different exposures for a total of 9 hours of observation time. The observation was proposed by Adam Rees, who was awarded the Nobel Prize. That's it for this Friday Show. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Hand washing is one of the most important ways you can keep from getting sick and spreading germs to others. Dirty hands spread disease. This hand washing demonstration will show you how hand washing can get rid of germs and chemicals that get on our hands every day. This gel is like the germs and chemicals that we get from things we touch throughout the day, like our toys and pets. If we then rub our eyes, nose, or mouth, or pick up something to eat, the germs or chemicals can get into our bodies and make us sick. Studies have shown that people touch their eyes, nose, and mouth about 25 times every hour without even realizing it. To get rid of these germs and chemicals, CDC recommends you follow these easy steps every time you wash your hands. Wet, lather, scrub, rinse, and dry. We're going to show you the right way to do each step. First, wet your hands with clean running water. Turn off the tap and apply soap. Then, lather your hands by rubbing them together with the soap. Be sure to lather the backs of your hands, between your fingers, and under your nails. Scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. If you don't have a clock nearby, keep scrubbing until you've sung the Happy Birthday song twice. Rinse your hands well under clean running water. Dry your hands using a clean towel, electric hand dryer, or air dry them. Washing your hands using the steps we just demonstrated is very important to get hands completely clean. Let's see how well we got rid of the germs and chemicals. Great! No more germs and chemicals. Why is this so important? Germs and chemicals from unwashed hands can get into our foods and drinks when they're being prepared or when we're eating or drinking them, which can make us sick. Also, germs and chemicals from unwashed hands can be transferred to other objects like cell phones, tabletops, or toys, and then transferred to other people's hands. That's why it's so important to wash your hands following these steps. Wet, lather, scrub, rinse, and dry, so you can stay healthy and help keep those around you healthy. For more information, visit cdc.gov/hand washing.
Welcome back to the Riley and Jenna Talking About Stupid Stuff show. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Riley.
Today we will be listing our favorite shows, and back with us again is Yan Singh.
Hello. Disclaimer, there might be some spoilers for a couple of these shows.
To start off, at number 5 of my list, I have Legend of Korra. Legend of Korra is last on my list because it's not quite as good as some of the other shows on my list, but it's still great. The Legend of Korra is a great TV show with funny characters and a good plot. I personally believe that out of all the avatars, Korra was the best and had the best character development and is the funniest. Pretty much Korra is one of my favorite characters, and the show is about her, so that's why it's on my list. But I do think that they added too many complex aspects to the show. Sometimes simplicity is key. Yan Singh will elaborate that after Riley tells us her number 5.
My number 5, I have Pokemon Indigo League. If you're not familiar with Pokemon, it's Indigo League. It was the very first of the series to come out. That's probably why it's my favorite. We get to start off learning about our main character and how he wants to train, and it is just an incredible story. There's so many different characters that I like, and I think it's really good.
My number 5 is also Legend of Korra. I love all the characters with an exception of Mako because he's a 5. But Lynn's probably my favorite, and like that bat guy that I forgot the name of. But anyways, they added a lot of elements to the show, but like maybe too much, and like that's why it's at the end of my list. And also like there's too much sub bending happening. I also like seeing like how all the relationships develop, even though some might be biased with their ships that then come true. Jenna. Yes. And then and then even though there were like multiple villains throughout the show, it showed like a different side to them and not like everything is like what it seems, and like they had sad backstories, and that was like really sad. But yeah, there we go.
Now for number 4. On my list, I have Drake and Josh. Drake and Josh is at 4th place on my list, but it is one of the best Nickelodeon shows ever. Drake and Josh is solely iconic, which is the inside joke, by the way. There are some episodes I may never forget, even though it was made in the early 2000s. Drake and Josh is a show that siblings and only children of all ages can watch. My sister's 24 and she watched Drake and Josh, and I'm 13 and I watched and still watch Drake and Josh. I know some adults who like Drake and Josh. It's a great show for everybody. If you have gone through life without watching Drake and Josh, you've never had an official childhood. My personal favorite episode of Drake and Josh would have to be Girl Power, or wow, they have so many good ones. Theater Thug and The Bet. Those are 2 of my other favorite episodes.
My number 4, I put Avatar Legends of Korra. This show was the spin-off series to Avatar The Last Airbender, but it was set in the year 1920. Although it was not as good as the other show, it was still incredible. We started off by learning that Korra was the next Avatar after Aang. She was a waterbender, but quickly picked up the other elements except air. I think the reason this show wasn't as good as the original is because it lost a lot of its humor, which was a big part of it. I definitely recommend this show to anyone who watched the first one, or just anyone at all that has a brain, because it was really funny, and even though it didn't have as much humor as the first.
Okay, my number 4 is Mob Psycho 100. Even though this is like an anime, technically it still like counts as a TV show. But anyways, the animation is like an absolute blessing. Like all of the fight scenes, they were epic. And this show, go away, Kevin. And this show made me laugh like so much. And I remember choking by laughing. And go away, Kevin. I choked by laughing. That's my conclusion. Kevin, go.
Okay, number 3 on my list is Wicked Tuna Outer Banks. And no, we are not cutting out Go Away, Kevin. Wicked Tuna Outer Banks is 3rd on my list. If you've never seen Wicked Tuna and you have Disney Plus, go watch it. This show is an amazing reality bluefin tuna fishing TV show. Even if your family isn't obsessed with fishing like mine, go watch it. It is hilarious. On Wicked Tuna, a bunch of different boats face off to see who can make the most money off of giant bluefin tuna that weigh up to 640 pounds and are up to 9 feet long. This show is just simply hilarious. My entire family loves it. We guess how much money the fishmonger will give them per pound for their tuna and pick favorite boats from the season. I love the Fishin' Frenzy, Little Shell, and the Doghouse. Almost every season there is a battle between the North and the South in the rough waters of the Outer Banks. I am Southern, so of course I root for the Southern boats. All the boats I named that are my favorite were the Southern boats. But in the last season, I'm not sure. I might like the Northern boat Pinwheel better, but like it's not my favorite season. The first 3 are the best seasons.
Next up for my number 3 was Drake and Josh. I put Drake and Josh as my place because not only was it hilarious, but it was what inspired some other incredible shows on Nickelodeon like Victorious and iCarly. Without Drake and Josh, those shows wouldn't be the same as they are now. Some of my favorite episodes were Josh Runs into Oprah, Season 4, Episode 1, and The Treehouse, Season 4, Episode 10. This show was absolutely iconic, and I really loved every second of it.
Okay, my number 3 is Steven Universe. This show has a lot of like LGBTQ representation, which I very much appreciate. The whole show is just like aesthetically pleasing, like all of the settings and places, beautiful. Okay, this show also shows like in real life problems that people like deal with, and like many teens and like even adults are dealing with, and it like teaches you about them, and like that's something not a lot of shows or cartoons are like willing to do, or like they're brave enough to do. And like all of the songs, I love all of the songs. They are very, very viable. 10 out of 10.
Next up on my list, at second place, I have Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls is second on my list. I just love Gilmore Girls. Even though my last show was a fishing TV show, I have a love for all television. Gilmore Girls is great. Sorry, Riley just put boo in the chat. Gilmore Girls is great because it is funny and simply entertaining. I love Gilmore Girls because, well, there's just something about it. All the characters develop in one way or another. We get to see Rory's life fall apart and then get put back together again. She has life struggles. She gets into Yale, Harvard, and Princeton, I believe. And it's just really funny, in my opinion. My favorite character would probably be Rory, because the show is based off her. So
For my number 2, I have the show Gravity Falls. I don't even know where to begin with this show. About it was so perfect that it was almost like a puzzle. Start off with our main characters, Dipper and Mabel Pines, and after being in Gravity Falls for only a week, they'd already figured out that something was off in the town. They figured out that Gravity Falls itself was a paranormal anomaly hotspot. Throughout the first season, we not only get to explore the weird shenanigans in the town, but there's also some hidden lore about the fact that Stan is not what he seems. I could rant about this show forever, and I had to cut myself off here because I pretty much could have written an essay about it, but I really do love this show.
For my number 2, I have The Promised Neverland. I love how spooky this show is. It is perfect for this spooky weather, or not weather, season. I love like the backstory and the suspense. There's like many times I almost cried, which is not fun. And I bet you those kids probably have trust issues. But also, like, if you want to watch it, it's like kind of gory and like creepy. So, warning there.
now, what everybody has been waiting for, the number 1 spots. To start it off, I'll go with my number 1 spot, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar: The Last Airbender is hilarious. The characters are great. The character development is even better. Don't even get me started on character development. It's just absolutely a wonderful show. There's so much humor, and it's probably the best cartoon I've ever watched. My entire family watched it together, and a cartoon is good when people in their 40s, people in their 20s, and teenagers can watch it at the same time and laugh at the same moments. It's just an absolutely amazing TV show. My favorite character, personally, is Zuko, because his character development is absolutely amazing. He goes from evil to slightly less evil to not evil, back to evil to not evil officially. And it's just a great show. He is an awesome uncle. His sister is the best villain in the entire show by far. He's got some great one-liners, like hello, Zuko here, and get out of the Bison's Mouth saga. And Zatara.
For my number 1, I also put Avatar: The Last Airbender. The reason that this show beat out Gravity Falls is not just because it had mystery and humor. The animation itself is incredible. Not only do they draw things frame by frame, but parts of the show use computer animation, which was something not a lot of shows did back then. Character development with this show was so amazing that even some of the villains turned out to not be so bad after all. My favorite character is 100% Toph because she's this tiny little thing that looks like a baby, and then she can destroy you in nearly anything.
My number 1 is also Avatar. Yay! Okay. I love this show because there's like no flaws about it. It's like perfect. But like the live action was a whole disgrace. The whole thing is a flaw. But go away, Kevin. But like, anyways, this show is like a perfect combination of like comedy and like action and like also Zuko's redemption arc. It was superior, okay? And like, I agree with Jenna when like she said like Azula, Zuko's sister, is like the best. Like, she is gorgeous and like amazing, yet very villainous. I don't know, but like my favorite character was probably like Toph and like Sokka. They were my favorite. Yes.
Now I'm going to ask a couple questions. Who is your favorite character out of all the characters we've listed, no matter what place the show is at? If you had a reality TV show, only me, who's your favorite character in that show? Or favorite person, because it's a reality TV show and nobody scripted them. Or maybe they did.
They're definitely scripted.
Okay, apparently they're definitely scripted in the opinions of Riley. And last but not least, Avatar: The Last Airbender, iconic.
I agree
Now we
with
answer
that
questions.
sentence.
Thank you. Now we this message is approved by Yonsei.
Yes.
Well, okay, I'll answer the questions. So my favorite character out of all the TV shows I listed was Zuko, as I rambled on about like 5 minutes ago, so I won't do it again. And my favorite character in the reality TV show I mentioned, which is Wicked Tuna, would be, I think, they call him Shaq. He's one of the captains, and he's a great person. That's right.
Out of all the characters I've listed, my favorite is either Josh from Drake and Josh, obviously, or Toph from Avatar, because they're pretty much opposites now that I think about it, but they're both really funny.
My top favorite is probably like Lynn or Toph or like Mob from Mob Psycho 100. Like, honestly, I love the whole Bay thing, like family. I think that's how you pronounce it. I love the entire family. I would simp for Lynn. I don't know.
Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in, but we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.